Assigning a moral value to something as necessary as quitting is objectively stupid. Any ambitious person will tell you that there's no better teacher than failure, and trying to avoid it by refusing to call it quits is just a very fancy way of wasting your time. I don't want you to waste your time. If you're new here, hello, I'm Silver, and here at Chaos Calibrated, I try to give you frameworks for decision making and the tools to master your mindset. Today is all about quitting, a very valid course of action that society decided to condemn regardless of the motivation or the context behind it. Seeing the world in black and white is perhaps the most damaging mindset you can possibly adopt, but it seems that a lot of us still fall for its charm and simplicity. Quitting doesn't make you lazy or weak. Pushing forward doesn't make you hardworking or strong. Either way, what we aspire to be is smart, with the way we spend our time, distribute our effort, and strategically decide when to fail. We've been conditioned to treat quitting like some kind of character flaw when in reality, strategic failure is one of the most sophisticated skills you can develop. Quitting recklessly is a problem. Not quitting when faced with a dead end is also a problem. Quitting when you're ahead and strategically managing the fallout is a virtue. And it's time we start treating it as such. To become masters of smart quitting, we must dismantle two major misconceptions. First, that quitting is never the wiser choice and is instead a mark of personal weakness. And second, that the game ends when we raise our hands. If only it were that simple. The former is an easy fallacy to destroy. Smart quitting isn't about giving up, it's about recognizing a situation where the risks objectively outweigh the rewards. You don't stay in a burning building because leaving would be quitter behavior, whatever that means. You get out because you're not an idiot. The second issue is far more insidious. It's very convenient to assume that the game ends when you quit. You walk away, head down, and pretend none of it ever happened. Unfortunately, smart quitting demands that you do a lot of the work after the decision is already made. A failure that you don't learn from or manage properly is a disaster. A failure that you control the trajectory of is an invaluable lesson that gets you closer to your next success. Strategic failure has three no-negotiable phases. Skip any of them and you're turning a potential asset into a wasted opportunity. Phase 1. Damage mitigation. When you make the decision to quit, you don't have the privilege of feeling sorry for yourself. You'll have time for that later, but right now your priority should be managing the consequences. What relationships can you save? What resources can you salvage? How can you exit without torching your reputation? This isn't about ego protection, it's about preserving your ability to play the game again. Phase 2. Learning from your mistakes. You need surgical precision in understanding what went wrong. Bad idea from the start, poor execution, wrong timing, external factors outside of your control. Could you have predicted this outcome if you did more research before committing? How can you do better next time? If you can't articulate exactly why something went wrong, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. Phase 3. Strategic restart. Only after damage control and lesson extraction can you intelligently make a choice about what to do next. Maybe it's a pivot or a completely different direction. Maybe it's the same goal with a fundamentally different approach. But you're not starting from scratch. You have a foundation of experience and knowledge to build upon, and that changes everything. Successful people aren't the ones who never quit. They're the ones who quit strategically and restart intelligently. They treat failure like data, not like some shameful thing to ignore and waste. Your time is finite, your energy is limited, and your opportunities often have expiration dates. Learning to fail strategically isn't some nice-to-have skill. It's essential for anybody who wants to build something meaningful without spending years chasing dead ends. If you want the complete framework for when to quit a project and when to push through, I just posted one in my Substack newsletter. You can check the link in the description. We also have a weekly advice corner called Calibrating Your Chaos, in which I process the things you're struggling with using the frameworks we discuss in these videos. Comment down below or DM me on any of my socials if you want to be featured anonymously. Make sure you're subscribed to follow along, and I'll see you next week.